Welcome back to another episode of the ABR Access podcast with a very different feel. But Mr. Will O'Malley, you're back?
I'm back, mate. Big week for us, and just in the new humble abode.
A little bit of different scenery, as you'll notice. We're not in the studio. We're not going to call it the Wolf Den because there was a bit of copyright issues there, a bit of kickback. But you'll notice we are. Will you explain, Willow? Where are we at the moment, mate?
We are in our new stable at Murray Bridge. We've been moving in this week. You and I have been hard on the tools. It's been a big week and still a bit more to go.
No, we've been grinding. We're recording now on a Thursday afternoon, and we've had a big few days as the crew outside take away the lighting from us and close the window, which is great. But we are surrounded by, we've moved in, I think, 8 horses at the moment. We've got the likes of Nola Bell, who's a bit of a stable favourite just behind us. So if you do see a horse popping around, popping her head over, that is Nola Bell. But yeah, we've got plenty to get through. We've got runners to look forward to this week, but we don't actually have any Saturday runners to review from last week, other than the obvious reason of me being away. Why were there? I think we initially had 3 lined up. Yeah. 3 scratchings. What happened?
Well, they all drew very wide, basically, and look, we were kind of, it was a 50-50 decision, to be honest, and, it wasn't until Saturday morning we waited for, I guess, some further scratchings. They didn't really come. So we pulled them all, and I think we've made the right call just with how the races were run and where they would have ended up in the run. Most of them would have ended up 3 and 4 wide the trip on a day it was hard to make ground. So I think good call made, and obviously you want to go to the races with runners that can win, and those barriers just didn't lend themselves to winning. And
we do get to see a couple of them going around this weekend as an alternative, so we can definitely preview those 3, but people are going to have to bear with us with a few of the technical changes in this. The box that we've just put together is not exactly set up as a podcast studio, so there might be a bit of back and forth, but hopefully it's all coming through nice and clearly.
You're doing a good job, mate.
Thank you, mate. Well, we've set it up with all the professional gear. Like, we've got these new seats that we've just ordered in, and we've currently got the podcast gear set up on a feed bucket, which is great, and the camera itself is sitting on top of
a bin.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, we've reached new levels here. But other than the scratching of the Saturday runners, we did have a couple go around yesterday at Strathalbyn, transferred meeting from Balaclava, and we had a bit of success, Willow.
We did, winning all round. Yep. Actually, got the job done. Obviously, well-deserved. Lost the race on protest. First up last prep, and then was a huge run at Strath, actually, second up. So, look, he probably deserved a win. He did it in good style. Probably at the 400, he was a bit nervous. Dropped the bit up the hill again, and he lost a few lengths, and I think a horse inside and kind of pushed him out the way, and I thought, we're in big trouble here. But he really knuckled down and won quite impressively in the end. He won by nearly 2, I think, over 2 lengths and running away from him.
And our man Jackson Murphy was in the barn this morning doing a few gallops, and we did release a bit of a video of him this morning on the socials, so good to see him get a bit of reward for the amount of effort he's put in behind the scenes.
Absolutely. He's been riding. He hasn't thrown in many bad rides for us. I think they've all been pretty spot on, and he deserved that, and hopefully there's a few more to come this weekend.
Yeah, he did a great job, so props to him, and obviously congrats to the Connections, the headline team with that horse that got the job done yesterday. The other one was a bit of an interesting one. We had Oh Lovey No go around in the the non-event, the non-race in the end.
Yeah, scary fall.
Yeah, disastrous. Obviously, thoughts are go out to Dom Tenora and Lawrence Dijakovic, who had pretty nasty falls, and there was a few grim moments on course there, and obviously the connections of the horses that were involved, not ideal scenes, but probably the right decision made in the end by the stewards to call the race off, which was a bit of a shame, because I think Lovey was just dropping maybe 2 lengths last and was probably ready to let rip, I think.
Yeah, just a standard flat spot, and then she would have run home. I don't think she would have been in the finish, but she was kind of inconvenienced by that fall as well. So, yeah, look, right decision. Obviously, it was quite dangerous and quite scary for those that were on track. We were obviously here still slaving away, mate. But, look, she'll go around again, find another race in the next coming weeks.
That is something people probably don't get to see a big side of, is obviously you see the clips of those horses winning yesterday at Strath, and obviously the owners and the jockeys are all high-fiving, and the stable staff who do a great job. But we were here mucking out boxes and getting them all set because we had horses coming here first thing this morning. So I think we were here till about 6:30 last night, and we're up here again at 5 o'clock. And me and you, who live in Adelaide, it's been a big couple of days, mate.
Again, courageous stuff. Hardball gets all around the place for us.
We did have a conversation over lunch discussing whether or not this podcast was going ahead, but for the ownership group, we thought we better get the job done and do our best. As we look ahead to this week, we might just jump into the runners. I think just with the circumstances we are in, we might focus quite heavily on our race race horses this week rather than any jibber jabber.
Yeah. No guest.
No guest. Although Aaron is floating around, we might be able to get him to pop over for his thoughts. Maybe a best bet from him.
Yeah.
Just in his thoughts on the runners heading into this week. But we do take the 3 going around this Saturday to Morphettville. Obviously, a couple of really exciting horses there. We've got the likes of Blackjack, who's a last start winner, and Officiate, who was scratched last week. Goes again this weekend over the 1900. Now, I don't have the order in front of me, but I believe we'd be looking at Mrs. Pennycracker first.
I think so, yeah.
She goes around on Saturday after a pretty luckless, safe to say, first up run.
Yeah.
I think she's been returned really well this prep. So excited to see what she does second up on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, stiff first up. Not sure she would have won, but she was in the finish and has continued to improve. She's kind of come back as she went out, which mares can do sometimes once they find a bit of form. She's certainly done that. Her gallops have been really good since. Draws barrier 8 from memory, which is a touch sticky. She's a horse that usually gets back a little bit in the field and rails out at 8 metres this week. So I reckon there's a chance they'll be on the outside fence, just the way those last couple of races were run on Saturday. It won't be too far to get out there. So, look, she'll be probably second half of the field. And if they can run on, I think she's in the finish.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what she does. She does get two key gear changes on Saturday. She gets Jackson Murphy aboard for the first time. Penny, obviously, thoughts go out to Taylor Johnson. I think is living it up over in Europe or is nearly back. So hopefully she's enjoyed herself. But Penny has been traditionally one of Taylor's favourites. And, she's definitely one of my favourites as well. So really looking forward to see what she can produce on Saturday. I think Officiate next.
Officiate. No, I reckon Blackjack is it next.
Yeah. We do have some issues with the internet here. But I can see, we can go through Blackjack. He's not a friend of the Barrier Gods, is he?
Unbelievable, because he obviously drew widest barrier last week. Then we put him in at Ballarat on Tuesday and he drew 14 there, I think. And we've put him in this week and he's drawn the widest barrier again. So it is unbelievable. He's actually going really well. He galloped with Officiate the last two times I've galloped and matched motors, which was impressive. Really sharp again on Tuesday. So, look, there's some thought that we will run with the thought that they will be on the outside. Well, the better lanes might be on the outside of the straight, and there's a good option for him 10 days afterwards. So that would mean just a quick backup, probably ride him a bit quieter. He's obviously a horse that's been on speed, but from barrier 13, is he going to get across? I don't know. I think we might try something a bit different with him. He can go back, and if they can finish off, I think he'll be in the finish, but it will just be a suck and see how the track is playing.
And you did touch on his work on Tuesday with Officiate, and Officiate traditionally since arriving for us has been quite a good track worker. We've talked about it a few times as him being some of the work of the week. For them to be going toe-to-toe is obviously a good effort and probably a reflection on where the horse is at in his preparation.
Yeah, really improved. Improved from his gallops early in the prep. So he's in a great spot. That's why it's a real shame that he's drawn so wide, because if you could draw inside, land up on speed, I think he's right in the finish. So it will just depend on how the track's playing. We still have to touch base with Wayne Mitchell on whether we run, but look, when they gallop so well, if the track is playing that way, I think he's going to get a good run and can finish off.
We take 3 quite nice and well-placed horses on Saturday to the races, and the last one we have touched on already is Officiate. He goes around stepping up for the first time this prep to the 1950.
Yeah, 1999 or something, I think,
right.
with the rail out so far. But anyway, yes, he's just probably looking like he wants a trip now, looking quite lean and fit and dour in his work. He was probably a bit sharper early on in the prep. Obviously came with a fair bit of fitness on his side. So, look, I think the 1900 is no issue for him. I think he ran third in a listed race at Flemington as a 3-year-old, over 1,800 metres. So, look, it's a good race for him. It's a strong race, very even. But I think if he gets the right run in the race, he's drawn wide, barrier 9. I think we'll go forward from there, just because he's got a nice high cruising speed. And if he can settle up and speed in the first 4, I think he is going to be super hard to beat.
Yeah, it's another one that, really looking forward to see him at this point in his preparation. Obviously, Penny's first up run was great. Yeah. Ready to go again. Second up, Blackjack was fantastic and has probably improved. And Officiate, now as he gets a little bit deeper, he's probably set to peak, I guess.
Absolutely. So there is some sort, depending on how he goes on Saturday, and he needs to come through the run well, but there would be some thought to run him over 1900 and then go back in distance, blinkers on in a Ballot Cup. So a bit of a Chris Waller special. We used to do that for the Doncaster and Epsom with his horses. They'd run over 2,000 and then they'd back up in short succession and put the blinkers on. It's a winning formula. So that's some thought, but he has to run well Saturday first.
I think, as I said, we're not going to touch on too much. It's going to be quite a light episode. But looking ahead, tomorrow we'll have more gallops out here.
Yep.
Looking back on today's gallops, if we were going to pick something out that's kind of been going well behind the scenes, I thought a horse like Leading Ride was quite good this morning.
Awesome. Best gallop he's given us. And
he jumped out last week as well, I think.
He did.
He did a good job.
Well. Yeah, and so we've actually chucked him in on Strathet on Wednesday. Just off how well he galloped, probably his best gallop. He sat off Dashing Red Star and went past him pretty quickly and pulled up really well. So we won't definitely run next Wednesday, but we just thought we'd throw in the nomination and have a look. Otherwise, he'll trial on the Thursday afterwards. He
looks particularly outstanding. He's about 15 metres away from us, and he would be one of the nicest looking horses in the barn at the moment. He is in a great spot. And as well as Flirt, who Ned made his horse to follow last week, but we haven't seen her. Where do we get to see her next?
She'll likely trial. There's just not a race for her. We had her on at Ballarat, which Ned was touching on. She drew extremely wide, and just for a horse like her that needs to be up on speed, it's just she's going to have to do too much work. So she'll have to probably trial. There isn't many races around for her, unfortunately. So likely trials on Thursday.
And the other one that I thought is worth a mention from the track work would be Nola Bell, the horse who is just behind us. I've briefly seen her ears perking up over the top, but she hasn't really made much of an appearance. Her work was particularly good again this morning.
Very happy with her this morning. Yeah, really happy. She went on her own. Jackson did a really good job just rating her and did it very easily. Still kind of new and green, which we know she is, especially when she was on her own, but really nice and sharp late. Never really got fully extended by Jackson, but yeah, really got through the line well. So she's in a good spot. She'll probably have another gallop next week before we trial her, but I'll just touch base with Aaron and Ned on that.
And the other ones I thought it might be worth mentioning would be a couple of the stable stars who will gallop here tomorrow and arrive at Murray Bridge.
Yep.
With eyes ahead towards next Saturday, the likes of Shady Thinker, after his first up run, I think it was the Behemoth Stakes, as well as Metrical, who will be arriving here this morning. All systems go, I think, for a race next Saturday for them.
So Shady will probably be nominated for the Open 1200. We're not 100% sure if we run. We might just bypass that, but depending on what the track does. If it keeps drying out, then, yeah, fair chance he runs. Metrical will be the week after, I think it is, on the Parks. There's a 1,300-metre race. And Leading Impact is the other one who will be here galloping. He can go to a couple of options next week as well.
Really good. That kind of brings us to the end of our horses preview. Unless there's anything else that I'm missing, Will, is there any topics or anything that we haven't touched on?
Well, not really. Again, looking for sponsors. I've actually got the White Claws. I asked Aaron to get some yesterday, but I wanted the good tides anyway. It's a setback, but White Claw can sponsor us if you want.
We'd be okay with that, but we've certainly earned a few. I do want to catch the captain when he does breeze past, but I imagine he's probably sitting on his phone again doing a whole lot of nothing. Like
maybe some Hungry Jacks.
Did we touch on that? What did you have for lunch yesterday?
Hungry Jacks.
And today?
Yeah, Hungry Jacks.
So we've had a couple of Whoppers with cheese, 2 in 2 days.
No, it's good for you. At least we're doing a bit of work to work them off.
100%.
It's. I think that's it. It's been really cool. We're very happy to be here. It's been a lot of work, and it's going to still take a time to adjust. I think that's probably worth noting. It's not going to be like come here and just go bang. It's going to be the horses need to adjust first of all, and then we need to get all our systems in place and understand the tracks. But we obviously sent a few up the hill today, which was really cool, and they handled it well. Winning all round actually galloped up the hill last Thursday because the track shut on us for the jump outs, which was a setback at the time, but look, the Magic Hill has worked its wonders.
Yeah, so even for us arriving, and like you said, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period arriving today with the horses, and earlier in the week getting everything set up was obviously a lot of hard work, as we touched on, but the horses coming in today and kind of getting them sorted out onto the track, onto the walkers, that whole routine is eye-opening for us as staff and for Aaron and Ned, but also the horses as well. Like you saw him come off the float this morning. They're like, what's going on? There's a horse down the end, a grey horse that I don't know how much time he spent really away, his young horse, away from Angaston, and his eyes were nearly popping out of his head this morning, when he arrived. So
and it's about the flow as well, how a morning works. Like, obviously, once we get settled in here, it's very seamless. But at the moment, it's just about what flows best, who's going where.
Yeah, what works best for us and what works best for our horses. But it's obviously a really exciting chapter for us, and part of the reason why I did bring all the gear out today because I thought it might be exciting to kind of show this side and see that there are things going on in the background. So really exciting and really keen to see what results can come of this.
Is anyone? Is this going to go out tonight? Probably not. I was going to say, is anyone to be here at 5 a.m. to move some sawdust? That'd be great.
Please, we've got another. How many more do you think we have to do? I think we did 8 this morning.
Yeah, and I've done a couple more there, so there's at least another 13 to go, I think.
Yeah, and it's been hard work, especially when most of the other staff have clocked off early.
Yeah,
Aaron's
done. Oh, I can't say that.
You can just you can beep that out.
Yeah.
That's the first F-bomb we've dropped in the pod.
And I am joking. He's done a fair bit. But,
the only other thing that I want to get through is our best bet segment, and the reason I bring it up with a bit of a smirk on my face is we did manage to get one to salute last week.
Yeah,
obviously I made officiate my best bet. He scratched, so I count that as a win, really.
That's correct. Yeah.
And then the other one that I said was Cosmic Crusader at Caulfield, and he got the job done. In fantastic fashion. I had the pleasure of seeing that race on Saturday.
You were there,
and it was he won really, really well.
Yeah, he's a nice horse.
Yeah, I think he's got Group 1s in his sights. I think he's going to the Memsey.
Well, he's going to find it a lot harder now, I think, but when the big dogs are there. But yeah, we'll see.
And I think your best bet?
It came last, didn't it?
Yep, did. It was bizarre. Arkansas kid.
Yeah, I think it was $8 into about $4.50 and
didn't fire a shot.
I saw it. I think it pulled up slow recovery. So
okay.
Yeah, doesn't help me though.
What do you got for us this week, mate?
I have a couple at Caulfield. There's one called Vallis in race 1 at Sandown. Kieran Maher horse. I think it could be a Derby horse. So if you can get some markets open for the Derby, I'd have a bet there. But it can win. And there's one called Extra Galactic in the Caroline 1,000 metres. Very nice horse. I
was going to make that my best bet elsewhere. It was going to be Extra Galactic.
Yeah.
It came over and ran in the Sangster and looked all over the winner the Goodwood until Desert Lightning got it. Sickening.
I might have had a big bet early in the week that and then I thought it won live.
It was. I think the trainer thought it won. It was really flattening scenes.
Yes, I was very flat, but no, I think it'll go very well. It's Cavalry Girls in that race as well, I believe.
She's flying.
She is flying. So look, I think it's drawn wide. That 1,000-metre shoot at Sandown is actually a good place to draw wide. So I think it'll be rattling home. And obviously you got Season Alibi, Autumn Glow. Who are you tipping?
I'll go Autumn Glow. Pretty comfortably, I think.
Really?
I think so.
It's an interesting...
I've loved the narrative this week. I've loved Peter Moody and the owner and how they've gone about it and how they want to have the race. But as he said, She's an Alibi has been beaten before and probably will be beaten again. Autumn Glow has only had the one defeat and it was over 2,000 metres. I'm going to stick with her fresh. I think... But it is I think it's a lot deeper race than the...
Well, you think Autumn Boy's about 50 to 1.
Yeah. Fangirl's $26 or something?
Yeah, Baywalk I think it's paying like 20s. I think it'll run a massive race.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think if I had to pick between the two, I'll have Autumn Glow running for me, but I wouldn't be charging in at the shorts.
Yeah, I think Autumn Glow's got the runs on the board. The fact Moody's sending it there is a huge push, I reckon. Yeah. I think he's must have it having. But yeah, I'm a massive Autumn Glow fan. I was flat as a biscuit when she got beat last prep, so I'd like to see her back and winning. But yeah, what a race and very cool to see early on in the spring. Yeah,
I'll make my best bet. Extra Galactic over at Caulfield, and I think at home I'll stick with Mrs. Pennycracker as our best of the weekend.
Yes, I would say Officiate is our best chance. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as we've said throughout, we've got 3 to look forward to this week and plenty of exciting stuff in the works. So we'll be back again next week. Maybe a little bit more content heavy. I think we might be able to tee up a guest as well.
Yes, maybe possibly. We'll see what happens on the weekend. But yes, we'll give you a bit more next week. But the fact we've even got it up, unbelievable.
A huge effort, honestly. We were really coming to the end of our tether, and I'm very excited.
Adding a bit to the invoice, I reckon, to the boss.
100%, as well as the Hungry Jacks he's bought us the last 2 days.
Yeah, beautiful stuff.
All right, we will be back next week, as I said, and we appreciate the support ongoing. And if you've got any questions and stuff you want to send through,
send through questions. We'd love questions.
Honestly, when the owners have sent stuff through, or just listeners and fans, that I've really enjoyed getting that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and again, if you want to come move some sawdust, it can still be a Saturday move some. Yeah. You might
get a double whopper with cheese, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, large meal.
Very, very good, guys. We'll be back next week. We appreciate the support.
Thank you.